Hello, thanks for joining me. In this video, I'll be sketching Sweet Dog Bakery, and I'm going to I'm going to play it in real time. I'm going to narrate it, so if you'd like to sketch along with me, grab some supplies and we can get started. I found two reference photos, and this one I liked because it's straightforward, pretty basic box, not too many angles, but I love the balloons in this image. And then there's this image that is, I liked it because it was just a little softer. It doesn't have the balloons, but it has the flowers on the side. So you could pick and choose which you like better and put those in your sketch. But I'm gonna put this one in the corner while I'm sketching. So this is the one that you will be seeing while I'm sketching. I'm working off of, I've got a piece of watercolor paper, 6 by 8 is typically the size I like to work off of. And I'm going to pencil out just a few basics of this sketch to get me started. And then we're going to go in with our pen. And I'll be using different sizes of micron pens. And then we're going to go in with some watercolor and then some pen again, and even a little bit of, we're going to use some Tampa markers in this one as well. So I have a list of all the supplies in the description. So if you want to check that out before and then go back to the beginning of this, so you have all the supplies that you need to sketch this cute little doggy bakery that's located in Tampa, Florida. So I'm just going to do the roof line, I got the awning and the window and the door. I discovered this image and I thought it was just really nice, straightforward, not a lot of angles, and I love pink and black together. And I have 2 dogs myself, so I love dog bakeries, and I thought this was a really nice storefront that she put together with those cute little doggies in the front and her logo on the top. After this last bit at the bottom here, now I'm gonna start with my pen, and I'm starting off with a micron 02. I like to do 005, 01, but today I thought I'd try the 02. And it's a nice fine tip. It worked out. I like the way, I like the line of this size tip. Nice, it's a unique roof line. Very unusual looking building. I always wonder what buildings were before, because this is it looks like an older building, so I always wonder, what was it? How many times has it changed over, and what was it before? So all these shapes are really nice, easy, square. Just follow your instinct and keep looking at what's where. In addition to the other things on the sketch, or on the image, excuse me, for your sketch. And once we get these basics in, then the hard part, those dogs. I was kind of putting this one off a little bit because I just, I wasn't feeling confident, but I did this sketch 3 times. The first one was on an angle and I didn't like it. And then I found this image and I did this one and it was okay. My front door was again really wide and not in proportion. So this isn't always my first sketch. I sometimes will do 2 or 3 and then usually by the 3rd sketch I worked out all the bugs. And my first my first one was on an angle. The second one, it was okay, but except for the door. And then this one here was the best one that turned out. So this one is the one I chose to post, to upload. And my dogs they're not great. They actually look like monkeys. They were not easy, but I still enjoyed it. It was fun, and they make me laugh. So at least I can laugh about it. So that window's starting a little bit below that awning. That's a beautiful door. I love a pink door. In Florida, some people paint their whole house pink or blue or yellow. It's really, I love those when I see them. They're such typical Florida homes and they're so bright and fun and tropical. People put murals on their houses. Our neighbor behind us has a big mural that the neighbor in front of them actually painted onto their, oh, here, let me back up. I was going to start to put that dog in with a pen and I went, oh, no, stop. So I'm going to pencil in the little dog on top. I'm going to pencil in the Sweet Dog Bakery, and then I'm also going to pencil in the dogs on the bottom before I go in with ink, just to be safe. There's no way I could there's no way I could go in with pen. If I did, I would name this the loosest sketch in history. So anyways, the neighbor behind me has a mural, and then the neighbor in front of them, he painted the mural on to their wall, and the texture on our houses are really stucco-y and rough, so he did a really good job. I'm amazed at people that do murals. Just amazed. I did paint some. I like doing these little 6x8 sketches. I don't know how anybody does anything really large. I mean, I love it. They're super talented. So the lettering on this, nice and simple, easy, nothing crazy, nothing difficult. So I put a little line there, so they're all going to be all even from the bottom, so I'll know where to stop, and then they'll be all nice in a row. And then when I get to the pen on these, I'm going to go back to 0, 0, 0. I'm going to do the 0, 0, 5. Just a real nice fine tip pen. I'm going to take my time with this guy. This guy turned out really good. I like the way this guy turned out. Very happy with him. And if you are sketching along with me, a good idea is to grab your iPad and look up Sweet Dog Bakery, and you can find this image or the other one, and whichever you choose to do. And then you can sketch with me and have your iPad right there too. So if you want to look at the image and pull up those details, because it's really hard to see when you're looking at mine, unless you're on a big screen TV. But I think this is my last piece of watercolor paper out of that Canson book that I bought. So I'm going to head to the store tomorrow and get some more watercolor paper and get something a little bit better quality. Finally used that one up. And I do like the 9x12 booklets, because then I could split that page in half and have like a 6x9. Then I take like an inch off the one edge, so I've got a 6x8, and I just like that size. And this way you get 2 pieces of paper out of the one. And if I get a really good quality paper, if I mess up, I can use the other side. Whereas this paper, you couldn't do that. The other side was, the watercolor didn't work on the other side. How you doing? How your dogs coming? You getting there? They're not easy, right? You know, maybe if you do a larger, like an 8x10, then maybe, I don't know, maybe they'd be easier a little bit larger. I think my outline wasn't bad. I think when I went in with the 0.8, which is a thicker tip micron, and I think then I just got a little heavy-handed in certain parts on the legs. So maybe I used a 0.8 to fill them in. Maybe stick with, you do 0.8 on the bodies, and then for the legs, because they're smaller, especially those little guys, maybe just stick with a 0, 2, or 3 to fill those in, because I think mine got kind of thicker. My legs on my dogs got thicker and a little misshaped. So maybe try that when we get to the legs. Don't do this, don't do the 0, 8 like I did. And then when I get to the going over the, I'm gonna put the Sweet Dog Bakery in, but then when I go back to go over it with the 0, 8 boulder tip micron, I'm gonna speed it up just so that you're not sitting there watching me just fill it in, because you got the gist. Where did that phrase come from? Got the gist. Never thought about it. I'll have to look it up. It's funny how we say things that maybe our parents said. My dad used to say, for crying out loud. Never knew what that meant. But we say things that we never really think about it. We just say them and we never think about where they came from and what they mean, how they came about. But you get the gist. Okay, got my 0, 8, and I'm gonna pencil in the little legs, the back legs on that dog, or the further away, back legs. And so here I'm doing the 0, 8. I'm just gonna speed this up, thicken up those letters, and then fill in those dogs real quick. Look at how fast I can draw. I should put this would be funny to put this to some like really fast music. Like Benny Hill. I'd get a mark for that, copyright. Just imagine it in your head. All right, got my monkeys in. I was like, is it the tails? I don't know. To me, they look like monkeys. All right, so guys, I'm going with the balloons. I like the balloons. I thought I've never done balloons before. I just felt they were just calling for me, especially pink balloons with the pink door. But I do love that plant on the right. So I definitely, if you choose to do that, I don't blame you. That's beautiful as well with those pink flowers. This must have been like her grand opening day, because those flowers were not in the other image, and she has like a little doggy statue in front, and then she puts a little dog bowl out for dogs to drink water. But she might have been closed during this image, when this photo was taken. So I'm just going to make up the background. And I'm just going to put all greenery around the complete building. And I was doing I did some greenery on the right and the left, and then I started putting it towards the top on the right, and then I put some on the left top, and then I looked and I didn't like it, so I filled in the whole, around the whole building. I went back and I did film that, and it's at the very end where I just filled it all in, it filled the whole background with green, and I liked that better. Because the plants I had back there, they were kind of looking like ground plants in a way, not really palm trees. It just didn't look right. And I went back to that. I did all that, the greenery and the little address with the 005. And then we're going to get out our paints next. I'm going to start off with the door, mixing up a little pink. I've got some opera pink. I'm going to mix a little white in there. And I've got a number 6 flat brush. And I love that color pink. The flat brushes are great for, I feel, for doing buildings and squares. So much easier. So I've got some Payne's Gray. Sorry about that. I'm mixing up a little Payne's Gray, and I'm going to do that top of that roof line. I just kept it a little bit on the darker side, didn't add a lot of water, just enough to spread it. In that first image I showed you, the top of that roof line and the awning were pretty dark black, and I liked it a little bit softer, especially with that pink. I wanted to keep it soft, and I did a little bit lighter, or a little bit darker, or excuse me, a little bit darker gray, not a black. I was almost thinking of going in with the marker, but I'm glad I chose to do the watercolor. I'm going to make the top awning the same color as that roof line, and then that bottom part of the awning, I'm going to go in with a little bit more Payne's Gray, but less water. Again, the flat brush is perfect for this kind of long, flat, square details like this. And I have a number 6 and a number 10, and those seem to be fine. I haven't felt the need for any other size than that. I don't need anything larger, and I don't need anything smaller, so I would recommend a 6 and a 10. I'm going to do some pink balloons now. I'm going to do different shades. I don't have that image up for you guys to see. I showed you it in the beginning, but I just had different color balloons. And then I'm going to put a little bit of a little bit of a darker, the sun is coming from the right, so I'm going to put a little shadow on the left. And I was trying to blend it, but I'm going to grab my small round brush and wet that down a little bit and just get that to blend a little. Add a little water to that brush and softly blend it. And I'm not quite sure what these balloons were staked to in the original image, or the original image I showed you. So I just put a couple of little poles, little wood stakes. And then I think this one's fun because we've got some things in the window. We've got a couple little baskets, some little dishes, and some cake holders that the treats are in. And then once I get all those things in, I'm going to go in with a little bit watered down Payne's Gray, and I'm just going to put the Payne's Gray for the windows and just go around all those items. So I'm just using some browns, some yellow ochre. I've got a little bit of a blue here for a little dish or bowl that's in the window. And then there's a little yellow one next to that. So I'm sitting there telling you how the flat brush is great, and I don't know why, but I grabbed my little round brush, my number 6 round brush, and I'm just making a mess right here. I'm going all over my beautiful pink door, and I don't know why I just didn't do what I just said was good for those things, is the flat brush. So I'm getting out my flat brush and I'm going to go over that again. And I made these dark windows a little, I know they're dark in the image, but I actually would have liked them a little bit lighter than that dark gray for me. So I go in a little bit later and try to pull some of that dark out. And that one little square underneath is supposed to be pink, so I'll pop a little pink in there and a little bit above the 212. So now I'm just going to go around all those items. And this guy wasn't dry quite yet, so I've kind of smeared that brown. Just Payne's gray with a lot of water. So I'm going to do the green now. I'm mixing up a little phthalo light green, some cadmium yellow medium, and just a little bit of sap green. And I'm going to put that in. And I'm using a number 10 round brush just to try something different. And I normally would put water down, but I wanted to kind of see, I'm going to try something a little different and do a little different type of plant, and it was okay. I think I prefer to wet the paper down and then drop my greens in for my backgrounds. So I'm going to put a little shadow. Now that that's all dry, I'm going back in, putting a little shadow underneath the awning. And a little shadow underneath that top of that roof detail. Sticks out a little bit, so it's got a little shadow. And I'm just using that same brush, same Payne's gray for the sidewalk. With I think I added a tad of brown, and I just used it as the brush dried off, just kind of rubbed it back and forth on the sidewalk there. And then I used the micron for that light. And now that that other green's dry, I'm going to go in and I've got my, I picked up my rigger brush, thinking I'll try and put some plant leaves, palm fronds with that. And that was just okay. I add a little more sap green to that for a little bit darker shadow and some darker foliage. And I'm adding more green on the left because I didn't like the way it was. See, to me, they're starting to look like ground plants popping out of the top of that roof, and I didn't like that. But I kept pushing on, trying to make it work. And we'll come back to that later. So I'm going to take the 005 and I'm just going to make some nice little kind of edge out those little details and put the little glass domes on those cake holders with the little treats in them. The wicker baskets, put the little hatch marks in. Some little doggy treats in there. I'm just making stuff up right now. And so I've got my Tombow N65, and I'm just going to put a little shadowing underneath those letters so they're looking a little more 3D and not flat. And the Tombow is great because those are water soluble. So I'm going to take a little fine tip brush with a little bit of water, and I'm just going to soften that shadowing. Once I get this dog's got a little eye, little ear. And I'm going to soften up that. It won't affect the lettering because that's waterproof. And so now I'm just going to just soften up that shadow. And I've got the 03. Gonna do a little bit of outlining of those windows. And the rooftop. I'm going to grab that Tombow N65 and put a little shadow. I see that I need a little shadow under that light and on the side of the door. And there's some little gold hardware. So I did a little yellow ochre on that and the address. put some pink and green splatters. And then I'm going to go back in and fix that greenery. It's driving me nuts. It looks terrible. So I'm just taking a nice big brush with a lot of green, and I'm just going to cover that all up. So much better. At least I think. I don't know. You might have liked it. I should have stopped when I was ahead. I should have. I don't know. It looks nice with all the green. It makes the building pop out, I guess. So here is my finished sketch. I did outline those the glass in the doorway and signed it, and that's it. So yeah, Sweet Dog Bakery, Sweet Monkey Bakery. Oh my God, don't they look like monkeys? Oh well, the top dog is amazing. I love my top dog. Look at him, he looks good. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I hope your sketch turned out amazing. And if you have any comments, feel free to reach out and give me a shout out. And I want to thank you for joining me. And if you've subscribed, thank you so much. If you haven't, please do so you don't miss any upcoming videos. I've got some good ones coming up. So I will be seeing you soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.